When you hear the word prosperity, what comes to your mind? Money? Luxury cars? A comfortable life? But what if I told you that, according to Solomon's wisdom, true wealth goes far beyond bank balances? Imagine uncovering an ancient secret that could revolutionize the way you view money, success, and purpose. In this video, you'll learn why so many people who seem to have everything still feel empty and how biblical principles can transform not only your finances but also bring a peace and purpose that money could never buy. If you're ready to change your perspective on what it means to truly prosper, stick with me until the end. This could be the turning point you've been searching for. Let's go on this journey together. When we think about wealth, the image that often comes to mind is tied to money, properties, or material possessions. However, the Bible teaches us that true wealth is something much deeper and longer lasting. For Solomon, genuine prosperity cannot be measured in financial terms, but in alignment with divine principles such as wisdom, justice, and purpose. These are treasures that neither time nor life circumstances can corrode. As he wrote, "Blessed is the one who finds wisdom and the one who gets understanding, for the gain from her is better than gain from silver, and her profit better than gold." Proverbs 3:13-14. Solomon, in all his wisdom, emphasizes that material wealth without spiritual values is like a house built on sand. It will inevitably crumble. He invites us to see money not as an end goal, but as a tool to fulfill God's purpose in our lives. When our resources are used with wisdom and compassion, they stop being just numbers and become instruments of transformation not just for us, but for those around us. How many people accumulate fortunes but live unsatisfied, feeling an emptiness that even the greatest luxuries cannot fill? This happens because true wealth isn't about what we own, but about who we are and the impact we make. Solomon teaches us that God wants us to seek prosperity that nourishes the soul, inspires growth, and stands the test of time. This is the kind of wealth that brings true peace and eternal purpose. He reminds us in Proverbs 16:16, "How much better to get wisdom than gold? To get understanding is to be chosen rather than silver." Furthermore, Solomon challenges us to share this wealth with others, multiplying the impact of our actions. He reminds us that the gifts we receive are not only for our benefit but to serve a greater purpose. When we live according to this truth, we begin to see value even in the smallest decisions. Each choice aligned with God's principles brings us closer to a prosperity that truly transforms. And it is precisely this transformation that leads us to reflect on the relationship between money and faith. If money can be a blessing, why do we often hear that it is the root of all evil? In the next section, we will debunk the myths about money and spirituality, shedding light on the true biblical teaching about the role of wealth in our lives. One of the biggest misconceptions about money is the belief that it is the root of all evil. However, the Bible clearly states that the problem isn't money itself, but the excessive love of it. As Paul writes in 1 Timothy 6:10, "For the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith, and pierced themselves through with many sorrows." Solomon, in his wisdom, echoes this teaching by emphasizing that money is just a means, not an end. When it takes the place of God in our hearts, we stray from divine purpose. Another common myth is the idea that being spiritual means living in poverty. Many believe that having material possessions is incompatible with faith. However, examples like Abraham, Job, and Solomon himself show that God can bless his children with material wealth as long as it is used to glorify him and benefit others. The real question is not whether we have wealth, but whether we allow it to control us or use it with wisdom and purpose. Solomon teaches us that the problem with wealth arises when it becomes the center of our existence. When money is treated as the ultimate goal, it turns into a burden that never satisfies. On the other hand, when money is placed under God's guidance, it becomes a powerful tool to bless lives and fulfill divine purposes. Striking this balance is essential to avoid the extremes of attachment or neglect regarding finances. This perspective frees us from judgment and gives us a balanced view of money. Solomon reminds us that wealth can indeed reflect God's blessings as long as it is used with discernment. The focus is not on how much money we have, but on the impact we create with it. As Proverbs 3:9 says, "Honor the Lord with your wealth and with the first fruits of all your produce." This approach challenges us to redefine the role of money as a resource in service of a greater purpose. With this mindset, we begin to understand that money can be a blessing or a burden, depending on how we use it. In the next section, we will explore the importance of financial education, examining how biblical wisdom teaches us to manage our resources responsibly and in alignment with eternal values. The Bible is full of teachings about wisdom and stewardship, and Solomon emphasizes that understanding is the foundation of any true prosperity. In Proverbs 4:7, he says, "The beginning of wisdom is this: get wisdom, and whatever you get insight." This includes how we handle our financial resources. Financial education isn't just a practical skill, it's an expression of our responsibility before God. It's not enough to know how to earn money. We must understand how to manage it wisely. Solomon teaches us that a lack of financial control makes us vulnerable to circumstances and external pressures. When we don't know how to handle what we have, we become dependent, accumulate unnecessary debts, and risk straying from the path of true prosperity. On the other hand, when we learn to manage our resources well, we find freedom and confidence in our decisions. Good financial management isn't just about avoiding problems, but about building a solid foundation for the future. Solomon compares wisdom to a treasure that protects and guides us, enabling us to face life's challenges with confidence. Imagine a life where every financial decision is made with clarity and purpose, free from anxiety or regret. It's this level of responsibility that draws us closer to the prosperity God desires for us. When we put into practice financial education based on biblical principles, we become better stewards of the blessings we've received. This not only benefits us, but also enables us to be instruments of blessing to others. As Proverbs 21:20 says, "The wise store up choice food and olive oil, but fools gulp theirs down." This verse highlights the importance of planning and saving wisely instead of spending impulsively. Now that we understand how financial education helps us align our resources with God's purposes, it's time to take the next step. In the next section, we will explore the entrepreneurial mindset and how it challenges us to create opportunities and see beyond limitations, following Solomon's example. Having an entrepreneurial mindset is more than starting a business. It's about adopting a creative and proactive attitude toward life. Solomon teaches us that true financial independence comes from diligence and the ability to see opportunities where others see limitations. In Proverbs 6:8, he says, "Go to the ant, you sluggard, consider its ways and be wise. It has no commander, no overseer or ruler, yet it stores its provisions in summer and gathers its food at harvest." This example inspires us to act with vision and discipline. An entrepreneurial mindset begins when we stop depending exclusively on a single source of income and start exploring our gifts and talents to generate resources. Solomon challenges us to be creative and not to fear hard work. Small steps, such as turning a hobby into an extra source of income, can open doors for financial growth that aligns with our values. This mindset allows us to see possibilities even in challenging situations. Another essential aspect of this mindset is diversification. Solomon, known for his multiple initiatives like trade, agriculture, and construction, shows us that we shouldn't put all our resources into one basket. In Ecclesiastes 11:2, he advises, "Give a portion to 7 or even to 8, for you know not what disaster may happen on earth." This teaches us to be prudent and to seek financial autonomy by multiplying opportunities. Embracing this mindset is also an act of faith. When we use our gifts to create something meaningful, we not only increase our financial potential but also honor God with the work of our hands. The Bible reminds us that God blesses diligent efforts, making entrepreneurship a practical way to live out biblical principles. This approach allows us to build a life more aligned with our values and purpose. Now that we've explored the power of an entrepreneurial mindset, the question arises: how do we handle crises and adversities wisely and courageously? In the next section, we'll uncover how to turn challenges into growth opportunities, following Solomon's teachings. Crises and adversities are inevitable parts of life, but Solomon teaches us that these moments are opportunities for growth and learning. In Proverbs 24:10, he states, "If you falter in a time of trouble, how small is your strength?" This reminds us that difficult times test our resilience and challenge us to find new ways to prosper. Facing obstacles with faith and determination prepares us for greater opportunities and draws us closer to true independence, rooted in divine trust and practical wisdom. Solomon shows us that trials are not just tests but tools God uses to shape our character and expand our vision. The creativity and courage that arise during challenging times make us stronger and better prepared for the future. Each crisis faced with wisdom and persistence becomes a stepping stone toward prosperity. In the next section, we'll explore how persistence, fueled by faith and discipline, becomes the foundation for lasting success. Persistence is one of the most powerful virtues in the pursuit of prosperity, and Solomon teaches that it's essential for reaping lasting rewards. In Proverbs 13:11, he says, "Dishonest money dwindles away, but whoever gathers money little by little makes it grow." This emphasizes that success doesn't come overnight, but is built through small, consistent efforts. To persist means to stay focused on our goals even when circumstances seem unfavorable, trusting that every action aligned with divine principles will yield results over time. This consistency gives us the strength to face challenges without giving up, adapting without losing sight of the bigger picture. Each step, no matter how small, brings us closer to a solid foundation and a more prosperous life. Solomon reminds us that true rewards come to those who don't just dream but work with dedication and faith. Now, with persistence as a foundation, let's take a closer look at how Jesus' teachings can reshape our perspective on wealth. But Solomon wasn't the only one in the Bible who taught about wealth. Jesus left us profound lessons, too, especially in the parable of the talents, where he reveals timeless truths about multiplying resources and living in alignment with God's purpose. Have you explored this powerful teaching? Click now to discover how Jesus' wisdom can transform your understanding of true wealth in Jesus' ultimate guide to wealth, the parable of the talents.